Hello friend, welcome back. This video is basically dedicated to all SelectorsHub users, those who have always faced this kind of problem, that this kind of question, that why are you using SelectorsHub over DevTools and other XPath plugins. In fact, in other words, if I would say that why are we using SelectorsHub over DevTools, or why should we use SelectorsHub over DevTools or in place of other XPath plugin, what are those reasons that we should use it? So here I will help you guys to understand that why we are using SelectorsHub, and why, if you're not using, then why you should use it over DevTools and other XPath plugin. So here I have listed down some of the major reasons, like fundamental concepts as well as the time saver features. So I have categorized in two parts. Here I have written the blog, why are you using SelectorsHub over DevTools and other XPath plugin. There are certain fundamental reasons for which we are using SelectorsHub. First one, it gives you the correct matching count. There could be like more reasons. I have listed few of them here. So the first one is, it gives the correct matching count of XPath and selectors match count which you found in DevTools and then what you found in SelectorsHub. So for an example, if we go to like any website, let's say Google, Flipkart, or Myntra, any commerce website or any website XYZ. Suppose we are here on google.com, and if you have let's say here generally we used to verify and write. So suppose we want to find out all the links. I will give you more examples. First we'll show you the, if suppose we want to find out all the links on this page. So /a, we generally write /a, and here it is showing 66. Are there 66 matching node? No. You see that here it is showing /a. This is the matching node. It is not an anchor tag here. You can clearly see it here. So this 66 is not the XPath matching count. It is actually the matching count. It also includes the string match. So here if you delete the value, you can clearly see that find by string also, selectors and XPath. So it will show you all kinds of match, like string match, selectors match and XPath match. While if you verify the same value here in SelectorsHub, you notice that here /a and hit enter, it is showing 25 matching counts. So this is actually showing you all the matching counts. If you turn off this here and then hit enter, it will show you all the 25 matching counts here. So this way you can find out like all the matching counts, which are how many matching counts are there in this DOM. While here it is showing 66. So there are not 66. There are only 25 anchor tags in this page. If you verify with the CSS selector, it should show same number of counts. While here if you make it CSS selector, you see that it is showing 759. Why? Because it is also matching all the string match. So this is not correct. So this is a very simple example. You can we can take even more complicated examples where there it is SVG element, shadow DOM or iframe. So all those becomes like more complicated example where DevTools control F doesn't work properly. Yes, you can use, if you are using this in DevTools console and there you are writing with the code, that's where it will give you the correct count and everything will be correct. But generally we are not always using the console, because there it used to take a lot of time going there. You can't see the DOM, you can't like there you have to write the code. So I'm showing you this comparison with Control F, which generally we always see people using it. Now next thing is here, so that is one example. Another example is like if you write XPath and correct selector for any element which is inside shadow DOM, like this one here. So if we open SelectorsHub here, and now this is the correct selector for this, you edit here and you see that it is showing one element matching. While if we copy this value and verify here in DevTools, it is showing 0 of 0. So it fails in this case of shadow DOM. It fails in case of nested iframe, because there it used to show some different values where you have to have the vast knowledge of the DOM to understand what count it is showing. So this is one like very first reason the very fundamental thing, that what correct matching count. If you don't have the right knowledge of the DOM and everything, it becomes very difficult to like understand whether it is showing the correct count or not. Next thing, the next is write information about XPath and CSS selector. So suppose here if we make it like, right now it is showing 0 of 0, right? But we are not able to understand that whether it is a 0 matching count, whether it could be wrong, or whether it could be right. While here, if you paste this value, you are able to understand, okay, this is one element matching. Let me show you in other way here. And also one more thing, like in place of using SelectorsHub here, let me use it here. It's very easy now. You can use SelectorsHub in the sidebar. So here, suppose you are writing any XPath and CSS selector here. Suppose let's say inspect any element like this, okay, and we write XPath like this, okay. Now if we copy this value and paste it in DevTools, Control F, okay, it is showing one element matching, that is correct. But sometimes what happened, like we miss this kind of like single quote, double quote, or like a square bracket. Now in this situation, we are not sure whether it is actually 0 matching node or there is something wrong in your XPath. So how can we get to know like this? The information right now here, it is missing. We are not, it is showing 0 of 0. So generally we always consider whenever there is a 0 matching node, it is showing 0. That means we always consider it is showing 0 matching node, there is no XPath match. Trust me, like those who have never thought about XPath or CSS selector error handling, we have never understood, we never try to understand. There could be an exception handling as well for these kind of things. So if you copy this value and paste it here in SelectorsHub, it will show you the exact error, that what is missing in your XPath, whether this is invalid or valid, and what is missing, like single quote is missing. So this way you will learn, and it will give you the right information, that what is missing, if it is wrong and right, whether it is wrong or right. So this is very, very helpful when you write XPath, CSS selector, anything. Even some cases, if you write the XPath and CSS selector like this and you paste this value somewhere, and if you try to edit anything here and then you copy this value and paste it again here in DevTools, let me paste this here. So you see that here it is still showing 0 of 0, but this is pretty much correct, like /input @id single quote user ID single quote. So this has pretty much everything, but it's still showing 0 of 0. And in this kind of situation, it becomes very hard to identify what is wrong. While here, if you paste the same value in SelectorsHub and hit enter, it will tell you what is wrong. This is still invalid XPath. XPath doesn't support tilted quote, use vertical quote. So this is where it will help you to learn such kind of concepts, as well as it will also help you to catch these minor errors, which becomes a huge time saver in many situations where humans' eyes or manually we cannot verify that what is wrong. Next up is XPath and CSS selector exception handling. So yes, this is the thing that which helps you to identify like this kind of errors, helps you to learn the thing that what is what you should write, what is wrong, what is like what could be the errors and all. So this is very, very helpful, that it helps you to learn these concepts about XPath and CSS selector. You just keep inspect, start typing here, and if you will be making any mistake, it helps you to learn what is possible, what is not possible. If you're writing CSS selector, then also it will help you to understand what you are doing wrong. So this all it will help you. Anything like any element information, like in this point, write information about XPath and CSS selector as well as the elements as well. So which is the next point, like iframe, shadow DOM, SVG element. So here if you inspect any element, it will let you know that this is SVG element, or inside close shadow DOM or something like that. It gives you that correct information. While in DevTools, it becomes very, very difficult to figure it out and verify those XPath and selectors. For an example, like here, if you inspect one element which is SVG element in DevTools, Let me inspect. Suppose this element we have inspected here, and now this is the SVG element. You right click, copy the value of XPath and you paste it here in DevTools. It is showing 0 of 0, which means DevTools even can't generate the correct XPath and selectors for all the element. Now if you copy this value and paste it here, let me just inspect the same element here and paste it here. It will show you that correct this is whether this is valid or invalid. So it is telling you that this is invalid SVG XPath format. Then what is the correct format? You start typing here and it will suggest you what is right. So this way it will help you to understand these kind of concepts as well, and it supports all kinds of elements, whether it is inside shadow DOM, iframe. It gives that information. It tells you upfront, like if you inspect the element, you see that it is telling you this is SVG, this is shadow DOM, sorry, this is inside closed shadow DOM. So that those things you learn. If any element will be inside iframe, that also it will help you to understand that these elements are inside iframe, multiple iframe, all those things. Like you just inspect, you see that it is highlighting this is inside iframe, and if you inspect, it will show you the value. So this way you can understand like all about these things, that whether element is inside iframe or outside iframe, everything. And it also gives you the XPath of iframes. So these are the things which helps you like fundamentally getting the correct count, right information about XPath and CSS selector, XPath and CSS selector exception handling you learn from here, and it gives you the right information about iframe, shadow DOM and SVG elements, and helps you to learn about these complicated DOM features, elements features. Then there are many time saver features, of course, SelectorsHub comes with. The very first thing is this, the new thing, that no need to open again and again. You need to open once only. Like if you have to use DevTools to write selectors and XPath, you have to open DevTools in this tab as well. Then you will have to open like if you have to use DevTools in these all tabs, in each tabs we will have to open DevTools separately, like here, like this. Again you will have to use open like this. Also at the same time, let me show you some example with other tools as well, like other XPath plugin. That other XPath plugin also helps with these, like these fundamental regions. So one thing, like let me show you like my own creation with CrowPath. So here if you like, I just for an example I have added this CrowPath here. So if suppose, does it gives this right information about XPath and CSS selector, does it support the exception handling? No, it won't support. So suppose if we write any XPath and make it wrong, for an example what we did in case of SelectorsHub here, let me inspect any element and start writing, and we'll take some wrong XPath and CSS selector. Let's say this is wrong, so you copy this. So like here it used to show you that close square bracket, and what is missing, that you might not be able to handle in CrowPath. Like CrowPath will not be able to tell what is wrong, and in fact it is not showing anything except red. So that's where it is breaking. Then if it is inside shadow DOM or iframe, it doesn't support. Like let's say here on this page, if we open CrowPath and inspect the element which is inside shadow DOM, you see that it is not able to handle, and in fact it is giving this kind of wrong information that it could be inside iframe. So this is where it used to break a lot, pretty much everything. And at the same time, like, so this handling is not supported by any other tool except SelectorsHub. The kind of smart editor it is, none of the tool does give these kind of smart editor suggestion, auto suggestion of while typing. And then one more tool I have here, which is XPath helper. So if, let me just show you this, you open like this here when you click on that, and it used to open like this. So if you paste XPath which is wrong here, it will just tell you that this is invalid, but it is still not able to tell you what is wrong in this XPath. So that's where it also breaks. Now, so these are the basic thing, and again it doesn't support iframe, shadow DOM, SVG and all those things. Next up is time saver feature need to open once only. So this is one of the best feature of Selectors Hub, that Selectors Hub, if you have to use in all these tabs, you have to just click on logo, that too only once, and you see that you can use Selectors Hub now in all these tabs here. You can use, whether it is a free version or pro version, you can use it in all the tabs here. Okay, but in case of like you are using CrowPath or any other XPath plugin or XPath helper, the major problem with these is when you open, let's say you are using XPath helper, first of all it will come on top of your web page. So now if I have to inspect any of the header elements of my page, I can't inspect and write these selectors for them. You see that it is on top of my page. If I have to use it on any other tab, then again I have to click and this will block my website view. So that's the challenge. And here we don't have inspector. This doesn't have inspector. I can't see the DOM. I will have to open DevTools as well. So that's the major challenge. While in case of SelectorsHub, you see how easy it is. You just open once and you have everything. On the left side you have website, on the right side you have the SelectorsHub. So you can just inspect any element and write XPath and selectors for them. Very easy. And you just go to any other tab, just inspect the element, and you will be able to like write and generate and everything. So that's the major one of the like best innovation we have done in SelectorsHub. We made it possible to open SelectorsHub just by clicking on the logo as well as the keyboard shortcut. Like you just press Command Shift S and it will open like this. This is really amazing. Then we no need to type much. Like if you want to write XPath or selectors for any element, you need not to type much here. You just inspect that element and start typing here. It start giving auto suggestion like this, and you can just quickly complete your XPath and CSS selector just in few clicks here and there. And that's where it is really amazing. Like you just inspect any element on the page, like let's say this one, and you just start typing here and it will give you like it becomes very easy to write and complete your XPath or any kind of selectors. Then if we know the basic, then copy value in one click. So if you know the basics of like XPath and CSS selector and you don't want to type and all those things, then you can just simply copy any of these value, all possible XPath selectors it used to generate for the inspected element, along with the playwright selectors as well. Automatically it used to generate. You can also verify playwright selector. This is the only tool which supports the playwright selectors. Like you need not to run the code and you need not to verify, you need not to run your code in debug mode. So that actually goes in fundamental regions, that you can verify playwright selectors here in SelectorsHub, while that you cannot verify in like this is the playwright selector, text is equal to this. So this you can verify in SelectorsHub, but you cannot verify this in DevTools or in any here you see that it is showing 00 or not in any other XPath plugin. So this is another great advantage, fundamental advantage of SelectorsHub. It used to support iframe, shadow DOM, SVG. So if any element goes inside iframe, shadow DOM, it gives you the like all the details about that particular element. So that saves a huge amount of time. It used to give you the automatically script as well. You can generate in Selenium, Cypress or Playwright. For anything you can generate. You can also, like suppose you are on Playwright and you are using Java or JavaScript, both the codes can be generated here. So that's like really huge time saver features which saves a lot of time. Then we have the debugger feature. Debugger feature is very helpful in case of like you want to inspect dynamic elements. We have already created lots of tutorial about this. Like let's say you want to inspect this kind of dynamic drop down elements which immediately disappear on right click, that also you can do. Then selectors healing feature is one of the best innovation in SelectorsHub also, that you can verify your all kinds of XPath and CSS selector whenever there is a script change or anything, whenever there is a UI change. Like let's say this is a piece of code where we have written multiple types of XPath and CSS selector for this particular page, let's say. So what you have to do, just paste it here and it will fetch all the XPath, CSS selector ID, all types of selector basically it will fetch, and it will show you the matching counts of them, so you can just fix which got changed. So whenever there is a UI change, you can verify all your XPath, your complete script in one go, all selectors of your script in one go. and this only SelectorsHub is the tool which has this feature. Then we have the page object model support. You can just here you can generate the locator page just in few clicks. You just start inspecting the element and you see that here selectors are getting generated, the locators page is getting generated here. You can make it in a code format, you can change code, lots of things are there which saves a huge amount of time for people. Then attribute filter is there. You can generate XPath or selectors with your required attribute. You can generate the pseudocode. So like this, you can generate the pseudocode as well. So this is very helpful. Apart from this, there are many features, like you just right click on the element and you see that here you can copy the XPath selector whichever you want. In fact, in pro version you can see the values as well when you right click and try to copy the value. So there are many features. This is a quick thing which I showed you guys, which only SelectorsHub supports and has all of these, and none of these features you will find in any other tool. And these are really time saver, and these are the fundamental regions where you should and why we are using the SelectorsHub. And another good thing is this, we are giving the free access of pro version. So if you guys haven't taken your free access of pro version, SelectorsHub Pro, then just go to SelectorsHub website here and get your pro version access right away for SelectorsHub Pro and Test Case Studio Pro, and experience these amazing innovations. You didn't want to continue with the pro version in future, definitely you can keep continuing using the free version, but experience these innovations like this SelectorsHub Inspector, amazing innovations. Like you see that when you hover on the element, if that will be having any special property, it will automatically highlight and tell you as many elements as you want. You can inspect, you need not to click again and again on them. So really amazing. This is many features. Experience these selectors healing, page object model generation, how this all is being done. Access based XPath, you can generate the access based XPath relative to other element just in 2 clicks, you see that. And this is the XPath for practice page with respect to courses. If you want to generate for courses with respect to products, first click here, then click here. Just in clicks you are able to generate the relative XPath. Isn't it amazing? This is really amazing. So please take this, and this is another very huge time saver feature, that you can generate the access based XPath relative to any other element just in 2 clicks in SelectorsHub Pro. So take the free access of SelectorsHub Pro version and enjoy these amazing innovation and save your time, and you will love them. And these are the regions that why we are using SelectorsHub over any other XPath plugin or DevTools. Please do let me know your region why you are using in comment, and let's learn from each other, and this will definitely help you guys a lot. Thank you so much.